Hi everybody and welcome to episode 2 in my series about DiSC and personality profiles in the workplace. It was that great 20th century psychologist Carl Jung that said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives and we'll call it fate. That phrase is going to be a common theme through this series on DiSC that I'm going to share with you. Now, it doesn't matter whether I am in a client meeting, whether I'm at a seminar, or whether I'm just at the rugby club at the bar having a couple of pints with some guys that are in business. Sooner or later, the conversation moves on to a story about a dysfunctional member of the team. Right from the board of directors to the new recruits, us human beings are trouble causers, aren't we? But we tell ourselves that our teams are our greatest assets, don't we? Well, at Sentis, we disagree with that 100%. We believe that your greatest asset is your ability to attract, develop, and retain the right people. I'm going to repeat that because it's really important. We don't believe your team is the greatest asset. We believe your greatest asset is your ability to attract, develop, and retain the right people. And DiSC is the tool that you use to achieve that. In episode 1 of this series, I described a business seminar and specifically 4 individuals making their way to an elevator and how they judged each other either positively or negatively. We just can't help it. We're always judging people. But that judgment comes from our unconscious bias, and that's where dysfunction comes from. We're not fully aware of why we make those judgments or what motivates others to make those judgments about us. DiSC is the antidote to solving that dysfunction. So what is a DiSC assessment? Well, let's start with what it is and let's dispel some of the myths. A DiSC assessment does not measure IQ, aptitude, or intelligence. It doesn't measure values. It doesn't measure mental health. It doesn't measure either good or poor behavior. It doesn't tell you whether one person is better or worse than another. So what does it do? So DiSC is an acronym. It stands for dominant, influential, supportive, and conscientious. And all individuals are a blend of all 4 personality types. But as a consequence of your upbringing, education, and life experiences, we're all firmly rooted in one of the 4 personality types. Actually, the world's population is broadly divided up equally between all 4 types. And DiSC tells you where you are rooted. By knowing which one of the 4 personality profiles you are rooted within, you will learn what your strengths are, your challenges, and most importantly, your response bias. And by extension, you'll be able to read the profile of other people around you. And you'll be able to change your communication style to suit them, i.e. you will truly empathise with the person that you're speaking to. And when we make these unconscious preferences conscious, the benefits for your business are immense. First of all, you recruit the right people and put them into the right role. So no more square pegs in round holes when you find out a couple of months later you've got the wrong person. It all but eliminates dysfunctional conflict. And it creates trust and commitment within your team, which drives accountability and therefore a solid focus on positive results. And the mere fact that you've invested in a profile assessment for your team tells them that they're valued. And we know from surveys conducted all over the world that feeling valued is the number 1 reason why the very best people come and work for you and then stay with you. And we know how expensive, how damaging staff turnover can be, not just financially, but reputationally as well. So let's try and bring this to life a little more with a simple example. Let's say that you're an influential type person, so you're rooted in the I profile, and you're going to see a potential customer to sell them a product. During that conversation, you're an extrovert, so you're naturally going to be upbeat. Your tone of voice is going to be fairly high tempo. There'll probably be quite a lot of small talk in there. You might even tell some amusing stories. Your focus on the detail will probably be quite light because what you really want to do is focus on the value, and you're eager to get across to that customer the change that it's going to make to their business. And if that potential customer is also an I-type, they're also influential, they'll enjoy that exchange. But what if they're a C-type? What if they're conscientious? C-type people are naturally distrusting of that level of enthusiasm. They don't consider you their friend, and unfiltered banter is actually unwelcome. They want a granular level of detail about the product. and they'll be naturally skeptical about any change that your product will make to the current way that they're working. You must empathize with them. You need to convey your product's features and benefits in a serious, methodical, and detailed way that makes no suggestion of criticism of the current product they're using. Otherwise, you're going to lose that sale. So there's a great example of I-style behavior. In future episodes, we're going to be looking in detail at all 4 personality profiles and how they react to one another in different situations. The assessment report itself is a really simple thing to produce. It's done by individuals completing an online assessment. It takes about 20 minutes or so, and they're just agreeing or disagreeing with certain statements. For example, accuracy is important to me, or I love to meet new people. And when that individual's report is produced and everybody else is produced, the great thing about DiSC is it gives you the holistic view of where you sit on the chart, and most importantly, where you sit in relation to all of the other people in the organisation. So now that you've got this holistic view of where you sit on the chart and other people around you, you can identify what your strengths and your challenges are, but also your unconscious bias and how that can affect other people in a different personality profile to you. And you can adapt, you can empathize, and you can therefore create really productive relationships. In the next episode, we're going to take a deep delve into the D or dominant style profile. So I'll see you then.